Wings are the most recognizable part of an aircraft. In fact, wings are what allow an airplane to fly. Without wings, an airplane might just be a bus, or a train, or a submarine. The very first airplanes had two sets of wings. These were called biplanes. Some even had three sets of wings. These were called triplanes. Soon they figured out that just one set of wings would be fine. That's called a monoplane. If the wing is attached to the top of the airplane, that is called a high-wing airplane. If the wing is attached to the bottom of the airplane's body, then it is called a low-wing aircraft. If the wing goes right through the middle, it's called a mid-wing aircraft. And wings can go straight across. They can be swept back, swept wings that point more toward the back of the aircraft instead of going straight across. Wings can be shaped like a rectangle or a triangle. Planes even have wings that are shaped like an oval. Wings can even be shaped like a trapezoid. A triangular wing that doesn't have a separate tailpiece is called a delta wing. Straight wings work best when planes are flying slow. Swept wings work best when planes are flying fast. Some planes even have variable wings. They can fold back when they're going fast, but they can come forward when they're flying slow. Variable wings help a plane in all phases of flight. Some experimental planes even have forward swept wings to go very fast. If there are small wings in front of the main wing, those are called canards. And if the wingtips sweep up, that is called winglets. The tail of the airplane is also called the empennage, and it usually consists of two parts. The horizontal stabilizer, which goes sideways like the horizon, and the vertical stabilizer that goes up and down vertically. Common tail is shaped like a cross. It's called a cruciform tail. If the horizontal stabilizer is on top of the vertical stabilizer, it's called a T-tail. Some airplanes have a V-tail instead of a horizontal and a vertical. The V-tail serves as both. On some airplanes, the tail is not attached to the body the normal way, but with two booms that come out the back. In the very first airplane, the horizontal stabilizer was in the front and the vertical stabilizer was in the back. The very first airplane did not have a body per se, but soon they decided that to move the tail, the horizontal and the vertical stabilizer to the tail, helps the plane fly better, and the body is then called the fuselage. At first, the fuselage was not even covered. Soon they found that if the fuselage was covered, that would help with drag. Some airplanes don't have any separate tail or fuselage. These are called flying wings. pilot sits is called the cockpit. Early planes had an open cockpit. But if a cockpit has a bubble on top of it, that's called a canopy. Most planes have either a propeller or a jet engine. Propellers can have 2 blades, or 3 blades, or 4 blades, or even more. The propeller is usually in the front, and that pulls the airplane through the air. It's called a tractor propeller. Sometimes the propeller is in the back, and it pushes the airplane through the air. It's called a pusher prop. There's usually 1 propeller per engine, but there could be 1 engine, or 2 engines, 3 engines, or 4 engines. If there is no propeller, it is probably a jet airplane. Jets are often seen as pods mounted under the wings or near the tail. And jets have an intake and an exhaust. With some toy planes, the jet intake is not easy to find. You can generally identify the exhaust. Jets can also have just 1 engine, or 2 engines, 3 engines, 4 engines or more. The B-52 has 8 jet engines. If a plane has no propeller, no jet exhaust, and no jet intake, it is probably a glider. If there is no intake, but there is an exhaust, it may be a rocket plane. Another important part of an airplane is the landing gear, or the undercarriage. The first planes had no wheels, they just landed on skids. Planes had 2 wheels in the front and a skid in the back. Soon the conventional layout was 2 wheels in the front and a 3rd wheel in the back. The conventional setup is also known as tail draggers. 2 wheels in the front, 1 wheel in the back. While it doesn't matter in the air, it was found that 2 wheels in the back and 1 wheel on the front make it easier for an airplane to move on the ground. This is called a tricycle configuration. Wheels hanging out in the wind create drag. So some planes have wheel fairings or wheel pants to help reduce the drag. But the most efficient way to reduce drag is to tuck the wheel away. These are called retractable gears. It's very difficult to make retractable gear in a toy airplane that's at an economic price. Therefore, the wheels or the undercarriage on toy airplanes are usually the least authentic part. Not all airplanes land on the land. Some land on water using floats, and some are even called flying boats.